A little funky start to this. Love it. And love the updates to the login page here. This top 10 thing. Pretty exciting. Good stuff. All right, we got two great examples for you today. Let's see. This in. GM to that. GM to you for showing up. That Founders Live was great last night. I hope you all had a chance to watch that. I think there are about 55 or so people. There should be a couple hundred, but I know the first one, people got to get into the new habit. It's on Zoom. It's not on YouTube. So anyway, welcome to Takeoff Tuesday. Hey, it's Veterans Day. So big shout out to the vets. So grateful for what they do. Family members that support the veterans. Also, I don't think they get enough credit because it's a family sacrifice when someone gets deployed, right? It's not just the guy or the gal, but the whole family that is supporting and contributing. So super grateful for what they do in preserving the American way. At the same time, I don't believe that violence is the solution to anything. And so, I'm grateful that there are people who are willing to get violent in the face of tyranny. And can't we all get along? It's also that whole thing there. But anyway, yep, like I said, grateful for the veterans. I know a lot of team members around the country are working on VA housing, especially the Chicago team. I've seen them do all kinds of amazing stuff with multifamily and getting veteran housing set up. So anyway, happy Veterans Day, everybody. Quick quote of the day. All humans are entrepreneurs, not because they should start companies, but because the will to create is encoded in human DNA. Excellent. Love it. Now, I noticed that we got the number one income earner for this week on the call today. So quick shout out to Mike Villa, number one, Richard Stock, number two, Michael Saunders and Magali out of the Idaho team coming in number three, John Chavis, number four, well done to you, Janine Best, number five, Denise Vance, number six, Mitch Maley coming in number seven. We got Coulter Hansen, number eight, David and Denisha coming in number nine, and Justin Bramwell in the number 10 position. Well done to all of you. And real quick, before we get into the rest of the training, I would like to have a quick conversation with Mr. Mike Villa. He's on the call today. He's going to tell us, I've asked him to come out and share real quick, what did he do to get to be number one? What was the work prior to that? How did he turn that work into money? And what's a lesson we can all take from that? So let's give a big warm team call welcome to Mike Villa, GM.
Yes. Sorry, I'm cleaning my ketchup. But thank you, everybody.
Yeah, buddy.
I'm eating Wendy's in my car, going to a flip.
Perfect. Life by design, baby.
Yes. Hey, so how I did it. So I'm very active everywhere, social media. I'm always doing everything. Get all kinds of transactions and everything. So this was a referral. No, it was not a referral. This combo, that's another combo that's coming in, is a referral. This one, it's a wholesale deal that I did with a community member, and that realtor was involved in the wholesale deal. She had the seller. She couldn't find a buyer because the house was very bad. So put it all together, partnered with the realtor, found a flipper of the community, wholesaled it. And she's like, what? And it was a sub too. She had no idea you can do that. They're used to the assuming the loan and all this kind of things. It's like, oh my gosh, you guys, so she got impressed with the villa. So I was like, well, come to her group so you can learn more, right? I invited her to the group, came over. She loved it. The sister was interested in real estate. Then brought her to the conference that helped more with the sale. Because, you know, they always kind of like question things and stuff. But doing the deal in front of her helped a lot. And then the conference sealed the deal. And she got it with a discount.
Excellent. So
Sold the combo.
essentially by using the product, but being a little bit extra intentional with inviting. Because you could have just done the deal
Yes.
and left it at that.
Yeah, forget about it. And I'm sure a lot of people on this call are walking through life, rubbing people's shoulders, and you say nothing. Not even a hello. You didn't even want to talk to this person. Like, whatever. This guy will die someday anyway, so who cares, right? Talk to them. Talk to them,
Talk
and
to
then
them.
the conversation will come out.
Yeah. 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 That's a good point. I mean, we're around people all day, every day. And if we keep this Renatus thing to ourselves, then it's going to be very limited.
Yes.
So
Yeah,
how much did you
that's
make
how
on
it
the deal?
happened. That was because of the discount, I believe, was only 10,800.
On the commission?
Yes.
And then what about for the real estate transaction?
That was 20,000.
So you had a $30,000 month.
Yes, that happened.
Yeah,
That
buddy.
happened. Using the product, selling the product, being the product.
And what car are you driving right now?
A Mustang GT. I had a Maserati, traded it in. Yeah, this one. I
A
wanted to go
brand
all
new
electric.
Mustang, huh?
Yeah, I thought my testosterone levels were gonna drop with an electric car, but they're faster. This is crazy.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, good for you, man. I'm excited. Thank you for being a great example to our local team and then also nationwide with what you do on the group stuff, the ISN, the Facebook groups, your contributions, your, very high positive energy and the action that you take is very inspiring. So thank you for being here and for your contributions.
Thank you, guys. And if you want to follow me on social media to inspire yourself, besides the Huggins, Mike Villa, and I'll
There you
accept
go.
you.
There you go. Give
Thank
them
you,
a follow.
guys.
All right, buddy. We'll check back in with you soon. Take care.
See ya. Bye.
Excellent, folks. It just keeps getting better. So share these stories. Why should someone join Renatus and do the marketing side? Well, let me tell you about Mike Villa real quick. He was out doing a wholesale deal. He's been focusing on wholesaling. In fact, he's one of the few people who's watched 100% of the classes. Anyway, side note. He was out there doing a deal. This person that was involved in the deal wanted to know more about where he learned how to do this. So he brought him to a conference, brought him to a workshop, and that was enough for her to say, yes, I'm in. So she paid full cash for her combo. Mike made 20 on the deal, 10 on the marketing, $30,000 a month. Now he's got another team member who's ready to go do some marketing, right? She goes and puts in 5 sales. She'll get 5-star. Mike will get another 27 grand. Plus, he continues to build his reputation in the real estate space. It's the best of both worlds. This is why we're talking about Renatus is the best income opportunity in the country, because you could talk about real estate, you could do real estate, you can introduce people to real estate, grow your entire network, and escape the matrix, right? Escape the rat race, the hamster wheel of life. And Mike has done just that. If you were on our call earlier, he joined and did a training about 6 months ago on this call. He shared a story about how he broke his foot and had to use crutches to ride the bus and the light rail system around just so he could get to work. And he's working 12 hours at a shift at the dealership on crutches. His foot is in a cast. And he said, you know what, though? At least I'm in America. Hallelujah that I'm in America and I could do this. And he just kept showing up, kept trying hard, and eventually found Renatus, found Mitch, found Ryan and Laura Black, and is crushing it. So anyway, whether you're an immigrant, young, old, injured or not, if you use the system, you're going to get the benefits of it, just like we are. So cool. Cool. All right, Tamara will be here in just a few minutes, but in the meantime, did everybody get a chance to watch the Founders Live last night? The new format. Everybody got the links, got everything that they needed. Let's see, GM, congrats, and GM. All right, sweet. Torres was on, Brick was on. Ada missed it. All right, let me grab the link here. And we'll just make sure moving forward that everybody's got it. And does anyone know a guest named Tulai, 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 from the E3 event? They are looking to find out who actually invited them, but they have my number and they've been hitting me up.
That's Seta and Mary's.
Okay, cool.
I missed the Invest Edge last night too, Michael. I was with contractors and stuff. So
Okay, no worries.
so there's something new.
So yeah, Snyder has switched to instead of Invest Edge is going to be the Founders Live and have them.
Oh, back to the old one.
Yeah,
Mhm.
back to focusing, concentrating on marketing.
Okay.
And where the heck is my link?
Thank you.
Yeah, you bet. Right here, but it wasn't back top. Bum, bum, bum. Bada, 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 bum. Bada, 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 bum. Okay, I will find this and drop it in chat. Or if someone else has it, you drop it in the chat real quick. They sent out an email about it too. Oh, here it is. Copy, paste. Okay. So everyone needs to try a little harder. Not for me. I don't need it. You need to try a little harder because let's say the enemies that we're working to defeat personally, right? We won't systematically defeat them because we kind of need the banking system. It's very helpful in many regards, but it's a corrupt banking system, so that's the problem. Instead of trying to burn it all down to the ground, that won't work. That'll create way more suffering than anybody ever could imagine or want to deal with. We just need to play the game, right? We need to get a little more educated. We need to be a little more serious about this. Art Williams talks about the difference between a $50,000 a year person and a $500,000 a year person is just a little bit more education, a little bit more training, a little bit more trying, a little more effort, a little more time. It's just a little bit more, but it's going to make a huge difference. And if you don't hate the government enough, just a little bit more, and you'll get more motivation to go buy more assets, to get yourself educated, to help more people get out of that mess. One thing I love about our next trainer, Miss Tamara Brooks, is she helps people get out of a mess. She has started an incredible foundation in New York to help people with the mental challenges of not being connected. Waves of Compassion is what it's called, but she's been connected to different charities, trainings. She does real estate all over the country and has been involved in our organization for over a decade now. She's helped run the New York team, helped with the DC area regionals. Mr. Snyder gave her a Marketing Queen Award once at a Nationals. Got this big giant trophy thing. But she's always coachable. Whenever I reach out to her, she's on a training, she's at an event, she's meeting some highly important people. She takes these cruises around the world. Anyway, super impressed by what she's been able to accomplish from where she came from. She's going to share a little bit about her journey and then give us some tips and tricks on how to stay sharp in this world of chaos. So let's give a big warm welcome to our trainer, Miss Tamara Brooks, GM.
Wow. Good morning, everyone. Thanks, Michael. You're so good at introducing people. Hold on one second. I just have to fix my background. I didn't even realize I've done all the things that you just said I've done, but I did.
You did, and 10 times more, right? Like and that's a cool thing about being in a community like this, is being reminded of the cool stuff that we do. Because if you're around cool stuff all the time, you forget that it's cool, because you need a contrast and a comparison, right? When you're working at Jiffy Lube and you see someone driving something else, you go, oh, awesome. But when you drive your $100,000 car for 5 years, you go, ah. But you are amazing, and your connection, your dedication to your improvement, and like, when you're on the morning calls, like with Dane, and you're doing the deals and you're being a great example. So I appreciate you being here.
Thank you, Michael. And I always appreciate all your motivation and coaching, and keeping me on track sometimes, to be honest. So, so good stuff. Well, good morning, everyone. I did just get back on a red eye, so you're going to have to excuse me. I'm pretty wiped. But Michael kind of walked us right into some ideas that I have, and feel free to take your cameras off so I don't feel like I'm talking to myself. But I've had this opportunity. So I started a nonprofit over the past 2 years. It's called Waves of Love. You can see in the background. And I started it for a variety of reasons. One, because I won't go into the whole backstory, but I come from a family where I've seen people struggle with their mental health for as long as I can remember. I was always someone struggling. So when I saw that, I said, you know what? I will never let myself go down that rabbit hole of struggling with mental health. Now, some people don't have a choice. It's just unfortunately something that it's a chemical imbalance, but there's always, I shouldn't say that, there's always a choice to improve, right? There's always a choice to get better. But so anyway, I took that as I will never allow myself to struggle with that. So I've always made sure that mental health is like working out to me. And I think that's what it should be for everyone. And that's part of my goal with our nonprofit, is to make sure that people know that there's a lot more out there than they realize, and to take out the stigma. So anyway, I was at this event over the weekend, and I was moderating a panel. And I always stand, real estate is I will forever believe in real estate being the best way to create long-term wealth, generational wealth. But this panel was really interesting. It was on Web3. If you don't know what Web3 is, hey, Carla, nice to see you. I miss being on our webinars together. So Web3 is AI, it's crypto, it's blockchain, it's all the wild and crazy new technologies that are changing our world. If you're not plugged into that, it's definitely in our real estate, and it's impacting our real estate industry as well. So it's time to tune into all these changes. But what was really cool is, being around these high level people, and I was so honored to be given the privilege. I mean, I was running a panel with these people that are like creating such incredible impact in the world. So it was amazing. But what I loved was like the abundance. So that's one of the things. I forget what Michael just said. And again, I'm sorry, I literally just got off a red eye. But the abundance in the room was like nothing else, because these people, they don't think in scarcity. Scarcity is not a thing to them. It's abundance. We have everything we need and more. How can we keep giving to the world? How can we keep, there's always enough for everyone. And, we're primed, from society to think it's not enough. We don't have enough. I can't share with Michael. I can't share with Carla because it won't be enough for me. And when you are around the right people, that's not how they think, right? They think we're in abundance. There's always enough for more. And, you know, with all these, you know, there's a scare tactic out there. How can I scare people into thinking that technology is going to, you know, there's not going to be room for me or whatever it is. There's always going to be room for us. And I'll bring this tangent in a second, but part of my point is that when you're around the right people, abundance is the way of thinking, right? So one of the things I would love to challenge you to do is to, you know, and I didn't think in abundance until I learned what the difference between abundance and scarcity was. So maybe some of the things that we can do together on this call is to help you focus on abundance, because there's very practical ways of doing it, right? One of the things is, you know, focus on what you have and you'll always have more, right? So actually, Michael was a big part of how I started to think in abundance, because he had us write these gratitude lists. I think it was like of 100 things.
100 things every day for 7 days. We made a book of stuff. It was amazing. And you couldn't repeat stuff from the last list on the next day.
Yeah. And I mean, when I first had him tell me that, I was like, what do I have to be grateful for? 100 things in a day, every day? And like, it took me a minute to realize how much, but when you do that every day, like, crap, I really do have a lot to be grateful for, you know? And I love that exercise. I didn't love it in the beginning, but I got to love it because it's really how you start to think in abundance, right? So I'm gonna borrow that idea from Michael, and, you know, I'm gonna challenge you all to think of 100 things you have right after we get off of this call. Write them down. Focus on what you have, and you will always have more. So that's one thing. I always see these people, and we have these people in Renatus too. I mean, we have an incredible resource of amazing humans in Renatus. And, you know, if you're not tapping into our live events, you know, I love our live events, E3. I mean, that's where you see the power of our community. Like, meeting online is great. It's a great touch point, but where you really see the abundance of what Renatus does. I remember my first nationals, which was, my gosh, a long time ago now, but I'll never forget it because, you know, I was in New York and I was working with this small community. It was great, but I didn't really understand how powerful our community was and how much of an abundant community we had until I went to my first nationals in Utah. And I was like, oh my gosh, these people are doing big things in the world. So we don't have to go outside of the community of Renatus. We have everything, honestly, everything we need within our community. And so the second thing is surround yourself with people that have an abundant mindset, you know, and this is where I learned it. Michael was where I learned it, how to be abundant. And then I just ran with it and kept going. But, you know, we want to make sure we're focusing around people who are thinking the way we want to think, right? And Tony Robinson actually has a great quote. He says something down the lines of, the quality of the person's life most often a direct reflection of the expectation of their peer group. So, you know, look around the 5 people you surround your time with. I mean, becoming a part of Renatus was such a big part of my life because I remember, and, you know, I've been a part of Renatus for a very long time now. I remember thinking, like, in New York, before I found Renatus, all right, this bar thing is cool because everyone just goes to bars here for fun, but it's getting old very quickly. And how am I going to get to the next level? Where am I going to go with this? Right. So, and I do have some great friends outside of Renatus, but when you surround yourself with people who are intentional and living life out of abundance and intention, you know, if you surround yourself with 5 people that are broke, you're going to be the 6th one, and vice versa. If you surround yourself with 5 people that are abundant and rich, you're going to be the 6th. So the choice is yours, but surround yourself with people that have an abundant mindset. I love that about Renatus. We really do have such an abundant, when you start hanging out with our people, such an abundant mindset and so many abundant opportunities. So take advantage, you know, and that's why if you haven't been to our live events yet, get to our live events. They're so incredible, and just use these, you know, these online meetups as a touch point. Create win-win situations. A scarcity mindset believes that if one person wins, another loses. That's what we're taught in life. That's what we're taught in the corporate world. But try to create win-win conditions in your life to break this manner of thinking. Especially in your real estate deals, right? What I love is I go into every deal with a, and I got this from people like Michael and Dane, listening to them talk so much. All right, how can my contractor win? How can my property manager win? How can my tenant win? Create the win-win solutions, and look for ways for everyone to win, and so everyone feels like there's a sense of accomplishment, and they'll feel better about the relationship. It's so, you know, and especially when you're talking to people in the ICM business, you want to create win-win solutions. How is Renatus going to make their life better, right? Yes, you know, we get a new person in the community, we get paid well to do it, but how are we going to make their life better? So, and do in your personal life, you know, what if you set up win-win solutions to your kids, to your spouse, all the things. Yeah, that's a great quote too. What you're looking for expands. So if you look for abundance, you're going to get more abundance, right? Just like the first thing I mentioned. So incorporate gratitude into your daily life. I mean, I already kind of hit on that, but according to Oprah, if you look for what you have in life, you'll always have more. If you look for what you don't have in life, you'll never have enough. And, you know, I'll be real with you, like there are days that I don't want to look, you know, I don't focus on the abundance. And sometimes, you know, we're all human. We have human moments, right? I always say I'm being human right now. Like I'll tell my friends sometimes, or I'm having a human moment, like, you know, have your human moment, but then realign, get back on track, and be back, you know, to focusing on the abundant person that you are working on becoming, right? So, incorporate gratitude into your daily life. You know, one thing I've ended up doing a lot of is just saying I'm grateful for all the things, and not just writing that list anymore, but now incorporating that list into my daily life. Like I'm always telling my property manager how grateful I am for her. I'm always telling, you know, the people around me how grateful I am for them. Like I'm always, I don't know if I should probably tell Michael. I know I do tell Michael how grateful I am for him on a regular basis on our calls, and I'm grateful for our community, you know. So always incorporating gratitude into your daily life. The list, if you do that list after this call of 100 things, and actually, it's a great habit. If you do it for the next 7 days, it'll just start to become a habit, right? That you do on a regular basis. So actually, I just pulled this statistic up. It says, this is taken from a professor of psychology and the founding editor-in-chief of the Journal of Positive Psychology, began researching gratitude and found that expressing gratitude improves mental and physical well-being. Being grateful also impacts the overall experience of happiness, and the effects tend to be long-lasting. So, yeah, this person says one way to practice. We've got it dialed in at 100 though. One way to practice this is to write down 5 things that you are grateful for each day. So the 5th thing is to train your mind to recognize the possibilities. An abundant mindset allows you to see more in your life, more options, more choices, and more resources. So always training your mind to see the good in things. You know, I've been in LA for the past couple of weeks, and my phone disappeared one weekend. And I think my past version of myself would have got frustrated, would have gotten upset, but my updated version said, okay, well, it's a great opportunity. Now I get to get a new phone, and someone needed the phone more. You know, I focused on the positive things. I said, oh, well, we're all safe. Everyone's healthy. it is what it is. I can replace the phone. It wasn't a big deal. My friends that were with me were like, "That's how you're reacting to it?" And I was like, yeah. And that was it. I just got a new phone. It wasn't a thing, you know? So training your mind to look at the opportunities, like I could have easily lost time getting frustrated that I lost my phone. Someone took it, you know, but it ended up being, I got a much better phone and I got a really good deal. I didn't even essentially have to pay for it. So I just got a newer updated phone. So, you know, had I let myself go down a rabbit hole and focus on why did this happen to me versus the possibilities and the opportunities, I would have lost time. And, you know, it's the same thing with real estate. You can focus on, you know, I don't have, you know, I don't have enough deals right now, or look at all the deals that I've done. Look at all the deals I've done. I can't wait to do more and get more experience in this. So just these little ways of thinking will really, they're little switches, but they make a big difference, right? You know, that phone, I know that phone situation was a test for me, because again, in the past, I would have gotten super upset about it and lost time, but I didn't even blink an eye. I literally said, okay, whatever it is, what it is, let's go deal with the situation, move forward. And like people around me were like, are you serious? You're not upset? I mean, listen, it was annoying because I had to reprogram the phone, but that was the worst of it. So, but think of things in your life that you can do. And that's part of the abundant mindset, right? It's okay. We always have enough. We always have what we need. It's fine. And that's, you know, that all started with creating that list of 100 things I was grateful for. So, you know, I want to challenge you all to just do these little things, because the little things are really the big things. And whether you realize it or not, you are programming yourself to have an abundant mindset and outlook on life.
So Laura has a question. She said, I love what you said. We have been taught that if one person wins, another one loses. What would be a good replacement thought she wants to teach her kids?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I'll give you an example. And like, you know, again, I have human moments where things sneak up on me. Like I have a really good friend, and I'll talk about all my friends. Like you know, I'm trying to think of how to explain this. So instead of thinking, why not me? Well, instead of thinking, well, I'm not in this, I'm not like, hold on, give me a second to dial in my thoughts. And again, I'm just getting off a plane, so bear with me.
I mean, we could just keep it super NLP specific and be like, if one person wins, another one wins.
Yeah.
Right? And then just go from there. Because if you are witnessing someone winning, you can only see in others what you see in yourself.
Right. So if that person's winning, I'm winning. And you know, we want that mentality. We want everyone to think in that mentality, because we want people to start thinking, well, look at me and say, well, if she's winning, I'm winning, right? So it's a we want to spread that that thought process with other people. So instead of thinking, well, they're doing better than me, like there's no better or worse. They're doing fantastic. And Michael, can you elaborate on that?
Well, yeah, so that idea of you can only see in others what you see in yourself is on congratulating and also on complaining, right? Like if you see someone being messy, for example, then what that is showing you is a little messy version of yourself, because you can only see them being messy because you have a mess. Or you know, if you see something. So my mom's a midwife, and one thing I asked her, like, how do you connect with so many people from every different walk of life, all kinds of craziness, beliefs, and everything? And she was saying, I asked myself this question because she only interacts with adults, so I guess it's fine. But she asks herself, what's sexy about this person? Every person, the person at the coffee shop, at the restaurant, at the hotel, at the the hospital, whatever she's interacting with, she's always asking, what's sexy about this person? Then she can find it and then compliment and create a genuine connection. I don't know why she started doing that, but that's something that she shared with me recently, is that question primes her ability to connect with people. So you can only see in others what you see in yourself.
Hey,
I think that
Michael,
that's
can I?
opportunity for awareness. Yeah, go ahead, Steve, GM.
With Jim. So one of the things that my mentor and friend John Maxwell always talks about, whenever he meets someone, he always put a 10 on their forehead. And what he says about that is how you see them, will determine how you treat them. So if you see them as a champion or a winner, you're going to treat them as such. But if you see them any other way, you subconsciously going to treat them that way. So whenever he meets somebody, he always put a 10 on their forehead until they're proven otherwise.
Nice. I like that. That's the American way, right? Innocent until you're proven guilty.
And the other like way to spin on that, Stevie, that's a great example, is like what I started doing is when I put notes in my phone about someone, I write down the top 3 things that I love about them and I want to remember about them. So like, Stevie is motivated. Stevie is kind. Like, the 3 things, and it's a little tweak that helps you. How you like Michael said, how you view people is what you want to see in yourself. So it's all part of I think it's all under the umbrella of the abundant mindset and training yourself to see the good in people and things.
Okay, so how does that tie into mental health and mental well-being? Because it's definitely a topic that in most people's lives they never even talk about, but it's still around. So we expand on that a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. So for mental health, I mean, we're taught. I don't want to say I feel like we're taught so many bad things about mental health.
Like what?
Like, I always say I have human moments because, we're in my perspective, we're really taught to mask how we're really feeling. Like, it's a very generic answer. Hey, how are you doing today? Oh, I'm great. No, you're not. Are you really great? Or are you, so we're kind of taught to mask what we really have going on. And an article that I was more specifically reading recently, it's actually about men and handling their emotions. And this came from a good friend of mine, a conversation with a good friend of mine, and her husband dealing with some emotions and feelings that he'd never really dealt with, and it is affecting their marriage. So, and I say that because he never dealt with his emotional, his mental well-being because of stuff from childhood, and it's coming out now, right? So imagine if we're taught that dealing with our mental health is a good thing versus the stigma behind what it is today. I mean, let me turn it back to you guys. What is your impression of if I say mental health, what is your first thought around that?
I just wanted to make a comment that Greg Kimball had said one day. Can't remember if it was at Nationals, but he had said, when someone asks you how you feeling, be honest. Don't just say okay, because okay is like saying I'm broken and not really saying how you feel. Just sometimes tell somebody how you feel because they might be feeling the same way, or you could help them out, or however.
Yeah, I've had this conversation with Randall Cloud a lot. He does this reprogramming with people, and And I love how he does it, because he'll do things to get people out of their, and Michael does this too, out of their regular, he'll say things that'll break their regular like cycle thought process. So they do answer like legit how they're going on, like what they really have going on. But to your point, was that Michelle?
Yep.
Yeah.
To your point, Michelle, yeah, like by you saying what you really have going on, it could, like, someone else could be struggling that day with something, and you have no idea, and they don't have a safe place to share it, right? But by you saying, well, I'm doing okay, but you know, I'm really struggling with, I didn't sleep well last night, or you know, my kids are struggling in school, and I'm really having a tough time figuring out what, you know, well, oh, that person could, that you just opened up to, could have had the same experience, and they could have had, you know, something that they can help, or you could have some feedback for them that you could really help them with, if that makes sense. Because what if they had the same, sorry guys, I am fighting jet lag a little bit, but in different time zones, but you know, by opening up and being more transparent with people, it allows the other person to be more transparent, and it creates a safe space, and it creates more connection for you and the other person as well.
Okay, so with my experience, it seems like most people just need to exercise more. Like, if you could just prescribe one thing about getting more out of life, out of your business, out of your relationships, your connections, what would it be? Would it be change what you eat, change how you move?
Get more sun. For sure. Get in the sun, get by water, get more exercise. Our body is meant for movement and for exercise, not to be sitting in front of a computer in front of fluorescent lights all day. That's the most unnatural thing we could ever be doing. I read this analogy recently. If you think about the school systems, think of hospitals, schools, and jail cells. What do they have all in common? They put you inside in front of fluorescent lights for long hours, long periods of time, and you miss the sunlight. You know, kids should be exposed to sun and be by the water and be by more natural things. So the quick and easy answer, Michael, to that is get more sun, eat more foods that are natural foods, no processed foods. So like going back to where people used to eat, they used to eat from the earth, right? And get more exercise and get by the water. So all the things that we are humanly designed to do.
Nice. Get more sun. It looks like Laura's got a question. GM Laura.
GM. I had a comment more than a question. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So what you were saying, like, what would be one thing that we should do? And also about the vulnerability. I actually had an experience where my doctor prescribed a certain medication to help me with something I was struggling with, but it wasn't even that bad. Like I could have dealt with it, and it caused a chemical imbalance in me, and I had depression. I had suicidal thoughts and all of this, and it was pretty awful. But I was able to figure out what was wrong by being a little bit more conscious of what I was eating and what I was doing. I tried all the things that you just mentioned. Change your eating habits, be in the sun, do meditation, exercise, and it would help me for a little bit, but then it would go back to being really bad, and I would have like 2 or 3 days that were horrible. And so number one, doctors love prescribing stuff. Look at the side effects.
Yeah, goodness.
And be careful. Be really, really careful. I get all these commercials on Amazon when I'm watching Prime or anything I'm watching. I don't know. Do they think I'm like 100 years old? They just send me commercials about medication all the time. And the side effects for these things are horrible. I don't even know why anybody would take that. But anyway, I don't know.
Well, no, actually, Laura, I'm really glad you brought that up. So I'm very passionate about stuff like this. In fact, I started working with a doctor. I'm getting my healthcare certification. I'm very passionate about health and fitness and mental wealth. And the reason, and I always have wanted to do this, again, it really comes back to watching people in my family struggle for my entire life with health and mental health. But I grew up seeing, my mom just constantly being prescribed drugs, but it never helping her, right? It always actually made it worse. So I said, I would never do, I went the opposite way. I would never, ever let someone prescribe me drugs. So long story short, I met this doctor recently. He practices Chinese medicine. Him and his wife are phenomenal. And their whole practice is around getting to the root cause of the problem. And they do it through, they don't do it through drugs or prescriptions. They do it through detoxes. And when they so for example, they get to the root cause of the problem, and they're healing. He's healed over 55,000 people in his practice, through Chinese medicine, which is all, it's all like sun meditation, and it's, cleanses and supplements. So he basically, what he says is your body can heal itself when it has the right resources and tool and is used the right way. So basically my takeaway is we don't know how to use our own bodies to heal themselves. So we don't need the prescription drugs more than follow the money with that. That comes from big pharma.
Yes, I know.
Our body has everything it needs to heal itself. It's just learning to read our bodies and figuring out what it's asking for. Maybe it's asking for more sun. It's asking for meditation. It's learning how to read our bodies and understand what it's asking for.
And now that I don't have that medication in me, I'm like absolutely, oh my gosh, so much better. But I do notice a difference when I eat well and when I'm not as conscious of what I'm eating. Like when I'm eating just because I'm in a reactive mode and I didn't plan ahead and I'm just like so starving that I just have to eat whatever is in front of me. I do notice a difference. So I know that everything that you just mentioned is definitely helpful. But also when you're in this mindset and in this crisis, the last thing you want to do is share with other people. You feel embarrassed. You don't want anybody else to see that something is wrong with you. So when I was out of it, I was able to share it with people, and I still was very self-conscious, and it was very hard to share with others. But as soon as I did, I couldn't believe the amount of women that told me the same thing. Oh my gosh, I just went through that. Oh my gosh, I did this, I did that. And this is a drug that is being prescribed also to teenagers for acne. Okay. So it's so dangerous.
Is it Accutane? Or you don't have to.
I actually don't remember the name of it. But it was a birth control thing to treat hormonal imbalances and things like that. But it created a.
Is it for acne?
It's not for acne, but it can treat acne in teenagers.
Yeah, so it's called Accutane.
Yeah, it's Accutane.
You guys, I don't think it was Accutane. It was something with an S or a Z. I can find out if you want me to.
Drugs are bad, okay? You guys all seen that South Park little clip? Drugs are bad, okay?
One thing so back on the topic that our bodies knows how to heal itself. One of the things to prime your body to do that is to do a 72-hour guided fast, where you slowly take it off the food by give it nutrition, but not all the craziness, like maybe a bone broth, and then drink sodium. you know, those kind of things. And then you slowly take yourself off of that. And then you do a full 48 hours. And then on the next 48 hours, as you're getting off on the 72 hours, you reintroduce it to the bone broth. And then you keep taking that sodium. And then, you know, at the end of the night, you take a light meal. So that way your body is basically killing all the cells that bad inside of you. It's eating itself instead of you eating for it. So even though you might be feeling lightheaded or different things, you know, it's your body's building those strength. And that's really, really one of the guys that does that really well is Gary Brecker, Ultimate Human, and he does teach like a guided fast method and all the requirements you need to take. Now, actually, I see people doing boxes to do fast. So those are some new things that are coming out. I'm like, but it's really helpful because people have been doing this for years, and decades. And there's some of the healthiest people that we know because they live up to hundreds, and you know, it's just letting the body take care of itself.
Laura, I wanted to tell you, and everyone. So I've done breath work. There's one that's called Breathe with Sandy. So a lot of breathing can help heal a lot of whatever emotional, just a lot of things in your body.
Breathing. Oh my gosh, I have this book. Hang on a second.
What we're all essentially putting together here is that you cannot ignore your health and try to build your wealth.
Definitely, because what are you gonna do once you have all the wealth with no health?
You're gonna be stuck in a wheelchair with a food tube down your throat.
Yeah, no, I love the fact that we're talking about this because we're usually meeting every day. We talk about things to make money, and now that we're talking about something so profound and useful, and we take so many different takes on it, which is so important, and I love that.
Yep. Yeah, and then we're teaching the good habits to all the people around us. So, yeah, Tamara said she's got a book. I also saw in the comment section here Aubrey getting herself all cleaned up, Deborah getting herself cleaned up. Cannot rely on the 8-minute doctor meeting. It's really got to be. Steve said, I think the cleanse, because you're trying to solve a problem. If you do like, let's do a monetary equivalent. You're trying to get out of debt by signing up for, payday loans. Like you want to clean up a specific thing, but you just add more of it. That's not cleaning it up. So you want to clean up your mind, literally a cleanse. I did one last year. It's 5 days. I just did lemon and salt water. And then on the 5th day, I did some bone broth. And then the 6th day, I added some fruits and veggies and then picked it back up again. And now I eat steak and bone broth every day. But that cleanse, I'd never done one before, but you got to be coachable. And when the rich people around you are saying, we do cleanses, okay, then I guess I'm doing a cleanse. So, Tamara, tell us about the book that you found.
Yeah, I think it was Michelle that brought up the breathing. It's such a powerful thing that we have for free and we don't utilize it. This book it'll self-guide you how to breathe through experiences. And here, I'll just read the back. It's one of the, literally, when I went through this process with one of my coaches, there's so much, and it's so funny. So this particular coach was someone who taught me how to be more connected with myself. When in the past, the way I used to deal with things, I just disconnect, right? Disconnect, so I didn't have to deal with it. But this book was like the catalyst for me to start connecting with what I had going on and my feelings. And this was this was like 30 years of disconnecting, and I had to learn how to connect with myself. So there was a lot of crying, but the breathing, it had me breathe 15 minutes a day in the morning and in the evening. It was very calculated, but it's called the presence process because it brings you to the present And it helps you breathe through all the experiences you've had in the past, but you bring them to the present, if that makes sense. You bring them to the surface, so you're no longer suppressing the feelings. And it allows you to be more present with yourself, with everyone around you. It was one of the most beautiful experiences I had, and I've been a lot more present ever since then. And I'll just like read it to you real quick, but I think everyone, you know, and so I'm giving you the advice that I do myself. Like, so I am very transparent with people now. So I'll tell them, well, I'm feeling very disconnected about this, or I like, you know, and what it's allowed, literally, I was talking to someone in Renatus the other day, and I said, you know, I've been very disconnected from this feeling. And this person said to me, well, I've been disconnected my whole life. So it's, and I saw this person's face, and it just gave them the opportunity to acknowledge that they were disconnected, and they hadn't been disconnected. They hadn't had a chance to deal with that. So I could tell that they were like, well, she's dealing with her being disconnected. How can I deal with me being disconnected? Can you imagine a world where everyone's connected to themselves and not disconnected? Most people are walk around life feeling disconnected. So if that makes sense. But if more people are connected with themselves, in tune, it creates an opportunity to be more connected with other people and be more present to life and experiences. But this book I couldn't recommend more. It's a personal piece, is not given to us by others. It arises through our response to ourselves. Today we all face an increasing flow of events about which we may feel we can do nothing. This is not true. It is critical we now experientially realize we are each responsible for navigating the quality of our personal experience. This book teaches us how to embrace authentic personal responsibility. It reveals the mechanics shaping the way we feel about our life and how we manifest our experience in a manner that empowers us to respond consciously to every facet of our life. It offers a simple, practical approach to accomplishing and maintaining personal peace in the midst of accelerating change, discomfort, conflict, and chaos. So I couldn't recommend it more as one of the most impactful books I've read. And it really, and because the experiences it walks you through is just becoming more present. And it's all through breath work.
Hey,
and it helps you not live in the past, becoming more present.
Hey, Tamara, I had to take a call. My real estate attorney just called and I needed to talk with him. So what was the name of the book?
The Presence Process.
Oh, The Presence. Yeah, I have that. Yeah.
The Presence Process by Michael Brown.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Tamara.
Oh, no, that's actually a different one. The Presence that I have is a woman.
No, The Presence Process by Michael Brown.
Present. Okay. Thank you.
Hey, Tamara, this is Courtney. I just wanted to say something. Sorry, I'm getting kids ready for school. But I've always been so amazed in this group how much people's interest in health and wealth are like tied together. Sometimes when you're around people that are interested in wealth, their interests are in a different direction than that. So I'm always impressed how much like holistic success seeking there is in this group. But I want to say in the list of things that are good for us is sleep. A lot of the people that I partner with in real estate are moms that either have younger kids or older kids in all different phases of their life, but particularly moms, and sleep deprivation is something that I still see in my peers, and I don't think that we recognize that because we think like if a kid's tired or like we get an extra hour. But I see it in peers and adults where I'm like, you know what, they'd be handling this a lot better, I think, if they had gotten more rest, like recognizing it in us. So sleep to add to the sun and good food and detoxing. I wanted to say about that.
Sweet. Yeah, that's a whole environment situation too. Like one thing I'm going to be doing this week is switching to Switching to hardwired internet. 1 second, baby. I'll be out soon. It's breakfast
Yeah,
time.
I talked to my kids about just turning it off at a certain time of night, not as a punishment so they couldn't play a game at 2 in the morning, but just to have like lack of electronic, lack of hum, lack of any of that stuff, and just be like, all right, how about after midnight? We're just moon. Like we don't need the air
Yep.
purifier on, we don't need a nightlight on in the hallway. And they thought it was a great idea.
Right? Yeah, being bombarded with all these Wi-Fi signals and that the reason I'm bringing that up is because you talked about the sleep, and that does affect your quality of sleep. You could still get 8 hours, but if you're sleeping right next to a Wi-Fi tower or a router, you're not. The 8 hours is not the 8 hours that evolution set you up for. That 8 hours got disturbed by the signals that Wi-Fi tower is kicking off, and it disharmonizing with the signals your brain is giving off. So please do not sleep next to your Wi-Fi routers. And in fact, if you could hardwire your stuff, it'd be even better, and get rid of Wi-Fi entirely. It's nice. It's a beautiful thing. It's fantastic. Welcome to the future. I love it. I can go out in my field 200 feet from my house and I still got Wi-Fi internet. But when I'm sleeping, I don't like it. So when we're talking about life by design and setting these parameters for what we will accept and not accept, it, like Courtney said, it's more than just the money. The money follows these good habits. So we're about to wrap up. Tamara, do you have any parting messages or ideas for people before we wrap up our Takeoff Tuesday?
Yeah, just to, that health is wealth, right? So I think that if we start to prioritize our health, the wealth will come. But I think prioritizing our mental health and our physical health is all part of the umbrella of health, of wealth, not just monetary bank account stuff.
Well said.
Oh, I wanted to share also. Tamara, thank you so much. Great actionable items, great reminders. And it is a journey, and I have to just share and I'm still on that journey. In the past 4 years, I released 100 pounds. And it's a system, no flour, no sugar, and community, accountability groups. But after that happens, it's one thing, you just keep going to the next level. Now I'm like, okay, how can I get my water in? And developing systems to get, what the standard is, half of your body weight in ounces. And I'm sipping but now I'm developing a system to get that in, right? 21 ounces before lunch, 21, because it was just too willy-nilly. But basically what you're telling us is we're a collection of our habits, right? Gratitude and the abundant mindset. It's not a one-time thing. It's not going to the, this content creator and then you have it. It's the constant daily walk and the daily action. So just thank you for that reminder of writing down. Now that 100 list, was that 100 things that we're grateful for or 100 things that we have or both? I missed that early part.
Just 100 things we're grateful for.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah, and then each day you're not allowed to repeat anything you put on any prior day. So if you're grateful for your hands today, you don't get to put, I'm grateful for my hands tomorrow. But you might be like, I'm grateful for fingernails and cuticles, and I'm grateful for eyelashes and nose hair. And you realize that if you didn't have those things, what would life be like with no nails, no eyelashes, no nose hair? You realize what kind of mess you'd be in? So anyway, it really starts to stretch and bring awareness to how amazing the things are that you have. And then by being in that amazing vibe, when it's time to call someone, knock on a door, send an offer, magic happens. I guess this is the shortest way to explain it.
Yes, thank you.
And you do it for 7 days? Is that 7 days?
That's the prescription. Yep.
Okay.
And just real quick to Carla's point, it is a journey. None of this is an overnight process. Like this is stuff I've been working on for 10 plus years. So, and it's definitely not an overnight, but one step at a time, and you start to see the results add up over time.
Okay, well said. So stay focused on your better versions of yourself. Share these ideas with the family, different habits we're going to make. Little by little, you don't need to completely revolutionize your household if your kids are setting these different schedules and habits, but little by little, by 6 months from now, a year from now, it's a whole new ball game, and the results are going to absolutely justify the work we're doing now. So stay focused on it. Excellent. Well, thank you for your contribution, Tamara, everyone else, Aubrey, Heidi, Emily, Steve, Gilda, everybody, Laura, Doug, Freddie, appreciate you all being here. And Jasmine as well, Francisco, great to see you all. Michelle, let's go out there and crush it. Okay, happy Veterans Day. Thanks to everybody. And we will see you tomorrow for Wealth Wednesday. Have a great day. Go be productive. Mwah. Bye for now.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Michael.
Michael.
Thanks, Tamara, and everybody.